Hello there. Yeah, welcome to this code flow tutorial. And in this tutorial, we're going to talk about HTML form elements. Let's go. We actually started a bit of a basics into HTML forms, and we have had a bit of discussion about how we can actually make our web page to look very good, how to get our users information. So right now, let's go into some things, just a bit of some additions to the HTML basics I was teaching you earlier. So right now, let's go back to our Visual Studio Code, and we are still under HTML forms. So right now, let's create some things in HTML form. We've talked about the input element, we've talked about the label element. Now we're going to go to another element called the select element. And what the select element does is that it defines a form of a drop-down list. That's what the select element does for us. So right now we're going to type in the select element. We're going to create a label first, label. And in the label we can write choose season. Now, after writing the label, we can now add what we call select. That's what we use. We use the select tag, and when we use the select tag, we have to use it along with the option value. That the option is going to be what is going to drop down. So write option, and you can close in the option. And within the option, you can write atom. Okay. Now you can actually still go down again, type another option. You can write winter. You can write option again, and you can write summer. You can write option again, and we have spring. Wow, this is quite amazing, spring. And let's save this. Okay. By the time we can actually give it a bit of some values, but never mind. Let's just save this like this. And by the time we go back to our Chrome and we preview this, we can discover that we have a bit of a choose a season. And once we click this, we have a bit of a drop down that we can actually select the things that won't select from it. As you can see, autumn, summer, spring, and the rest. So basically, that's what we use the select tag for. It's like a form of a drop down list. Now, the next one on our list right here is called the visible value. Okay, and what the visible values actually does is that it sets the size. Okay, we use the size. It's more about talking about the size. Okay, I mean, let's talk about the values of the things that we can actually change physically. So we're going to let's just talk about the size attribute for now. So let's create a bit of an example of the size attribute. But actually, let's just use those examples right here to specify what we want to talk about when we talk about the size attribute. So basically, we have four options right here. I can just type in the size right here, the size attribute, and I can say I just want it to show just 2. And by the time I save this and I go to my Chrome and preview this, we'll discover that I'm only seeing 2. Like I can see 2 at once. Okay. You can see I can see 2 things at once. But actually, before it was just 1, I can see it. But I can decide that, okay, I want my client to see just 4 at once. So once I save this and I go to Chrome and I preview this, you can see that when we scroll down, I can see the 4 at once. So basically, that is what the size attribute does. So we also have another one called the multiple attribute, and it initiates what we call a bit of multiple selections. So first of all, let's try and delete this guy. Let's delete the size, and let's include what we call multiple, and let's save this. That's just all we need to do in terms of multiple, and let's reload our page, and we discover that once we select this, we can also select, as you can see, once select this, we can also select this, we can also select this. That means we can select two things at once. As you can see, you can select two things at once. That's what the multiple attributes is used for. Now, another element that we actually have is known as the text area element, and it's like it tells us about the input field, just the size of the input field. So to use the text element, we use what we call text area. I mean, just HTML is too easy. Text area, and within text area, we can type in what we want. The the rain the rain chart, okay, and we can set in what we want for the text here, what the height and the width we want. But actually sometimes we use what we call rows and columns sometimes, and I want to set the rows to 20 and the columns I want to set it to maybe a bit of 30. And I'm going to actually save this, and once I save this and I go to my Chrome and I preview this, we can see that we have a bit of a text area right here, and the range chart is what is written, but we can actually delete it and do what we want to do. Well, then we can later connect this text field to a submit button and submit it. But we'll talk more about that when we get to the HTML form input attributes and elements. So that's just basically what the text area does. And actually, let's just say most of those elements are kind of very simple to memorize. You can check more of them at W3 schools. Now, another element that we have is known as the button element. Okay, and this would actually mostly be used with your JavaScript. When we talk about HTML scripts, you're going to get an angle of what we talk about JavaScript and the rest. So for the button, actually, we can decide to give it a name. Let's write click me now. Okay, and for the button, to connect it with the script, we have to type in the type that we want. We want a button, just a simple button. But actually sometimes we want to type in the attribute of onclick. And for the onclick, we can create a simple JavaScript alert known as alert. Alert, and let's open a bracket like this, and we can type in hello everyone, and we can close it and close the bracket. So basically when we get to JavaScript, you're going to get a bit of what we're actually talking about right here. So let's save this, and by the time we go back to our Chrome and we preview this, we can see that we have this click me now. Once we click it, you can see that it gives us an alert that hello everyone. So this is actually just more of a behavior of a JavaScript. Okay, when we get to JavaScript, you learn how to create fun alerts like this, something like this. So basically that's element as a whole. So I think over the course of this tutorial, we've explored the rest of the HTML form elements. In the next tutorial, we're going to talk about the HTML inputs, the HTML input attribute, and the HTML input element. So I'll see you in the next episode.